O God in Heaven, The Wretched Diary of Mary Chesnut, Part 8, Subpart B, November 27th, 1860. Every morning for years, I have assumed Mr. Chesnut has enjoyed hearing the vivid tales of my previous night's dreams. Though he never responds, not so much as a smile or even eye contact, I have felt certain he took pleasure in my fantastic slumber stories. Tonight, though, as I write these words, my former notions seem shaken. Nibbling on my toast, I began this morning, as I normally do, by introducing the fact that I had the most adventurous and pleasurable dream the night before. "Oh, Mr. Chesnut," I cheerily chirped, "I had the most adventurous and pleasurable dream last night. Quite interesting it was, dear." Mr. Chesnut, head resting wearily on his hand, acknowledged my speaking with a low grunt as he spun his spoon aimlessly in his grits. "I dreamt I was in the grand entry in my most voluminous skirt. You know, the one I had imported from Bavaria, with the multiple strings of pearls festooning it? Now, of course, you know, in reality, it truly is a heavy dress, but in my dream it was as light as my slave-holding conscience." I spread some more butter upon my toast. "But in this dream, though, the dress had not its plunging neckline exposing the cleavage of my bosom, but suspenders. Can you believe it?" I chuckled encouragingly, hoping Mr. Chesnut might find the notion of suspenders on a $1,000 dress humorous. Yet Mr. Chesnut sat unchanged, still pushing and pulling the spoon through his grits. "Anyway, suspenders, unsightly, yes, but for some reason in the dream, I rather enjoyed the faux pas fashion accessory. I remember pulling them outward with my thumbs and letting them snap back into place, just like some common white trash. Hee. I had to pause here to laugh to myself. Well, it was unseasonably warm, but in my dream, despite the layered dress, I was not perspiring. I remember that distinctly. I also seem to recall that the grand staircase assumed a position on the left side of the entry hall. Of course, it's on the right, but it was on the left in my dream. Isn't that queer? Anyway, the air had not the usual humid tackiness of which we are accustomed. No, it was a balmy, luxurious warmth. All was lit beautifully, too. The sunlight seemed to penetrate the very roof. All was so bright, and the air was thick as cotton. It was clear, but it was palpable. Like a thick syrup, it flowed into my nostrils, relaxing, but not suffocating. "What?" I hoped Mr. Chesnut was responding to me, but he had actually issued the word of clarification to Maddie. She answered something which I could not discern, and he replied, "Nah, I'll be there in a minute." He sighed, pushed aside his uneaten grits, and laid his head down. I forged ahead, though, as if I had not been interrupted. Anyway, I soon found I could levitate in the dense warm air simply by kicking my legs, and in that Bavarian dress. A few paddling motions soon found me floating upward, my voluminous dress giving me the feeling and appearance of a jellyfish in an aquarium. Atop the grand staircase I was, some 20 paces above the floor. There was a blanket of clover growing upside down upon the ceiling. Of all things, a blanket of clover. Anyway, I ran my fingers through it before nibbling at it, and it tasted like bacon. In the thick, comforting air, I maintained my height as I grazed upon it with just languid flips of my ankles. Everything felt warm, like warm pudding. It felt, damn it, Mary. God damn it. Mr. Chesnut raised his head and looked at me with bloodshot eyes. "I don't want to hear this shit." "It is my dream, Mr. Chesnut. I tell them to you every morning. I find that..." "Well, find someone else to bother with it. Good God. Hellfire, I don't want to hear it. I never have." I felt the need to argue my point. "Yes, but Mr. Chesnut, dreams are humanity's greatest accomplishment. Storytelling at its finest." "Oh, horse shit, Mary. Dreams is the worst. The very worst stories of all times ever are someone's dreams." I beg to differ. Dreams offer us a view into our greatest creativity. Dreams provide... There ain't nothing creative about no damn dream. There's no plot. There's no rules. That's what makes stories good, are rules that can't be broken, like time, place, Yeah, natural stuff like gravity and the sun. And the plot is how people in the story move forward through the damn conflict while they got to deal with them rules. Mr. Chestnut slapped the table and stood. Dreams ain't got none of that shit. And I wish you'd just quit telling me about 'em all the damn time. With that, Mr. Chestnut left the dining room, and I returned to my chamber, occupying myself with opium and its resultant dreams the rest of the day. I shall tell Mr. Chestnut all about it on the morrow. Mary Chestnut.